HITC Sport. Thugs. Thuggish brutes. Football fans? More like something out of Planet of the Apes. Get this, there are football supporters setting foot in a football stadium?
Won't somebody please think of the children? Old Trafford is a sacred turf, only fit for the multimillionaires to walk on. Just the mere thought of these swamp-dwelling pond feces laying their tattered shoes in this grass. Oh, I bet they haven't wiped their feet since 2006. We're gonna need to tear them. Just nuke the stadium.
Yeah, this is the genuine reaction the mainstream media have had for what was mostly a peaceful protest on Sunday afternoon. Honestly, the media reported the Manchester United protest as if they were orcs invading the Shire. No, just a bunch of disgruntled fans sick and tired of having their football say for their club deemed no more important than the opinions of a pet gerbil. Lads, people screaming from the rooftops that football fans were trespassing in their football stadium. Oh, would you prefer they trespass in your garden? Maybe instead march their way through Marks and Spencer's loaded with 7 different flare guns, right? I might then understand the reaction if they're setting fire to the fruit and veg aisle before chucking potatoes at the staff. Yes, but this was just a bunch of men shouting outside of a football ground. Graham Souness came out and claimed that he could have been killed by someone throwing a beer can. I'm sorry, how many annual deaths worldwide are recorded of someone getting hit in the face by a can of Foster's? Unless they have a skull made of marshmallow, it's not happening. Are you forgetting this is supposedly hard man Souness, football's answer to Rex Banner, someone who hasn't smiled since the late 60s and looks like he'd gladly rip out your front teeth if you looked at him cockeyed. I'm sorry, but if an empty beer can manages to crush your skull, you don't deserve to live. Sorry, that was very harsh. We live in a world where Manchester United fans almost had their lifeblood ripped out of their sweaty palms. This is a club who've had their owners use them as something to prop up their egos at cocktail parties. And you're complaining about an airborne beer can. But that's how mental is it that we live in a world where football fans are celebrating a game being cancelled? When before have we seen a bunch of 40-year-old plumbers literally invade a famous football stadium only to be cheered on by the Sky Sports pundits? Good gracious, Gary Neville looked this close to ripping off his own tie, grabbing a flare and stealing a corner flag. And I'm guessing Old Trafford now mostly smells like a mixture of whiskey, flare smoke and middle-aged armpit sweat. But violent protest, I'm sorry. Is this your idea of a violent protest? It looks like a teenage disco. Just a bunch of spotty 15-year-olds looking nervously at their phones. During the London riots in 2011, house windows were smashed, cars were set on fire, shops were robbed. But this bunch of lads, they don't even look like they have it in them to rob a Freddo bar. They're probably more concerned about passing their exams and losing their virginity. Thugs. I'm sorry, but thugs in skinny jeans literally do not exist. Thugs? No, half these lads are just on their lunch break from playing Fortnite in their underpants. I mean, here's an innocent kid reenacting the Rooney goal in front of the Stretford end. He's not exactly threatening panicked stewards with a shard of broken glass now, is he? Yeah, here's some fella whose dad looks like he's just got lost looking for his way to the shops. You know that fella left his house at 2 p.m. but with the sole purpose being just to buy some milk and a couple of Jaffa cakes. Imagine being a lifelong Manchester United fan who finally gets their chance to set foot on the hallowed Old Trafford turf in front of the Sky Sports cameras. Everyone would be eager to live out their boyhood dream and exercise some brilliant footballing technique, right? Yeah, this lad just repeatedly swiped at the ball as if his leg was made of cauliflower. Oh, that's just embarrassing. Are you Bebe in disguise?
Why are you here today?
Christ above, he sounds like someone who's just confronted a middle-aged man about why they're here to meet a child from the internet.
Mate, why are you here today?
Why do you think he's here today? To have a picnic on the pitch? Is it not pretty obvious? Listen, I want to make this very clear. I am not condoning the entire protest. Yes, there were a minority of idiots there. Genuine idiots with a capital I. But guess what? That reflects society. Walk down a busy street in Manchester and I guarantee you will walk past someone who drinks paint on a daily basis. Even on a match day at Old Trafford, yes, most people will be fine. But I'm guessing at least 3% of the crowd have probably stuck their hand in a toaster on at least one occasion. Walk into any downtown Mancunian nightclub blasting out some Oasis tunes, and yes, I promise you, at least 7 of the people there will watch The Big Bang Theory and laugh. So if you get a few thousand people protesting outside a football stadium, then yeah, you will always have a minority of people to take it too far. Yes, throwing flares, even breaking into the stadium, it's probably not right. I mean, what's next? Break into Joel Glazer's house? Raid his fridge and microwave his cat? All in the name of Manchester United? Apparently some fans stole balls, corner flags and camera equipment. I'm sorry, but what does stealing an expensive DSLR have to do with getting back at the Glazers? That's probably gonna have to come out of some poor cameraman's wage. And as we all know, cameramen usually get paid in bags of dog food and whatever coins they can find underneath the vending machine. All you're hurting there is just Big Dave. You know, the camera-wielding dad of 5 from Blackpool who lives in a 1-bedroom flat and shares a bed with his heavily pregnant sister. Stealing corner flags? I'm sorry, is this Manchester United or West Ham. Next to be smashing the windows out of Millwall pubs and trying to convince yourself that Frank Lampard has a beer belly bigger than Chunks. Apparently a bathroom was also kicked in. Lads, Old Trafford is your stadium, not the Glazers. They've been to this ground about 7 times in their life. You go there every other week, vandalizing your own toilet doors. The only person you're hurting there is yourself. That is yours. That's where you take your sweaty halftime dumps. So I guess have fun next season squatting over a broken toilet bowl that doesn't flush and having to wipe your arse with chunks of carpet you brought from home. Honestly, this is like being angry at the government and then choosing to set fire to your own kitchen in protest. I don't think Boris is really going to care that your kitchen now looks like Chernobyl. Yes, there was a police officer who had his face slashed. Let me make this perfectly clear. The man who did that does not represent Manchester United. But don't let the mindless actions of a Jeremy Calkin tested with a potato in his brain, don't let him completely undermine what this was all about. This was about taking back control of Manchester United.
You might say, oh, why can't you be more like Arsenal and Chelsea fans?
Christ above, don't get me started on the one at Stamford Bridge.
If you let the people in, let the bus go in.
Poor old Petr Cech, a 3-time Premier League champion, a Champions League winning hero of your club, and he's wheeled out to act as a makeshift lollipop lady, wading into the crowd like Sean Pegg, trying to make his way to the bastard Winchester, except instead of coming face to face with zombies, it's just a bunch of highly paid bankers from West London wearing cashmere coats. He is a living legend at Stamford Bridge, and yet here he is, spending his twilight years being showered in spit by Roy Jennings. But listen, you're probably wondering, what is the big fuss about with the Glazers?
Oh, Man United have still been winning trophies. They recently just spent 80 million on a square-headed centre back. What's the fuss?
Very simple, the debt. Manchester United were a debt-free organisation before the Glazers came. So why should they be plundered with a now £500 million debt? Because their owners have the financial acumen of a damn sock? Sir Alex Ferguson is one of the biggest legends in the history of the club, right? Maybe even the biggest. Good Christ, his name is on the goddamn stadium, but even still, his repeated attempts to back the Glazers against the fans. This man is lucky he won 13 league titles for the club. Because can you imagine if David Moyes had dared to do that? He'd probably have had a dead cat stuffed through his letterbox. The Glazers are undefensible, and Fergie continuing to toe the party line just to appease his boss and protect his job, bowing to the whims of a bunch of American oligarchs. That's probably the only scorch mark on his Manchester United legacy. Maybe the man was in self-denial, instead of admitting the club were now racked with a £500 million debt because he fell out with the previous owners over the ownership of a goddamn pony. The Glazers have also relocated Manchester United's company registration from Sir Matt Busby Way in Old Trafford to the Cayman Islands tax haven. I'm sorry, is this Manchester United Football Club or Krusty the clown? This isn't a group of owners who've made one ill-judged Super League call, like the Man City owners who'll probably now be forgiven if they win the Champions League. No, they've sponged off this club for years. I'm sorry, but if your mere presence at a football club is enough to turn a section of hardcore fans away from your club, choosing to set up FC United of Manchester in the 10th League of English football, if seasoned Man United fans who follow this club home and away in Europe for years, if they're so disillusioned that they'd rather spend their Saturday afternoons stuck in the freezing rain watching their team compete against plumbers and shopkeepers from South Shields and Nantwich Town, that kind of shows you the level of damage the Glazers have done. You might think, did this protest get through to the Glazer family? Have they made a public announcement since? The closest response I got was from a disgruntled NFL insider wondering why his inbox was now flooded with angry Mancunians threatening to cheese grate his face.
Just to be clear for the 1000th time, as I woke up to all this stuff sent my way on social media. My family's from Brooklyn, not Tampa. We do not own Man U.
Here's a tip, Jay. If you're trying to avoid Manchester United fans sending you hate mail, probably best not to call them Man U. But now, before we go, let's just go back and take a look at Joel Glazer's first interview back in May 2005.
Is communication with the fans important to you? It's extremely important. Again, I keep coming back to it. Fans are the lifeblood of the club. People want to know what's happening, people want to know where things are heading, but we will be communicating. Again, I think it's important that the chief executive is communicating on a regular basis, and the manager communicates on a regular basis, and we can communicate certain things ourselves, but not much is going to be changing at Old Trafford.
Yeah. Fans are the lifeblood of the club. Those same fans who've wanted you out of the club for decades and you haven't listened. Communication? What communication? Who exactly did you consult in regards to the European Super League? You've had as much communication with Man City and Liverpool fans as Manchester United. That is an utter, complete disgrace. They said not much is going to be changed at Old Trafford. No, of course not. Except, if you had your way, we'd currently be 9 weeks away from potentially ripping Manchester United out of the English pyramid. The Glazers need to sell up and go. Give Manchester United to the fans. Yes, there were idiots inside and outside the stadium, but don't let that be the headline. Don't let that distract you from what the protest was really about. Don't let that hide the message this protest was trying to convey. We need football clubs to follow the German model. 50+1, that's what we need. We can't just look at the apologies and move on. No, get these people people out of football clubs. No, I don't agree with certain elements of the protest. No, violence is definitely not the answer. Don't lose sight of what the message was really about. Anyway, that's it, lads. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think they went too far? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, and as always, I'll talk to you in a while.